5, 3.
Three.
Hey, hello everybody. As you can see, this is Cinema Recall Podcast, and over to the side of me, I do not have my co-host Ashley. She has been replaced for the time being. By Jason Soto. Not for all time right there, but just
no. Well, first off,
episode.
I can never replace Ashley. Ashley is irreplaceable. Nobody can ever replace her. She is irreplaceable. I'm willing to fill in temporarily as a one-shot guest while she couldn't be here, but I can never replace Ashley. Ashley, I can never replace you. You are far above.
That's true. She's even far above me too, so that's fair enough. I mean,
she is out of our league for 100% out of our league.
But for podcast host, yes, 100%. Okay, but I'm actually above her league in most everything else too. All right, that's true.
I'm not going to get involved in this. Let's continue. Let's just move on. Okay. I'm not getting in the middle of anything. Let's just move on.
Oh. Anyways, folks, welcome to Cinema Recall Podcast. So I should let people know that we were going to record the second half of a Clue audio drama that I'm putting together for Rabbit Hole Podcast. Recorded part 1, had a bunch of great guests in there. Bubba Wheat, Heather Bassington-Walsh, Lisa Sally Haynes, Bear. And yeah, it was just great times. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it sounded like a good time. I wish I could have been there for the original recording. There was just miscommunication on my behalf, on my part. I misunderstood something. It sounded like everyone had a great time. I am a Patreon member, and I did hear the little sample you put up, and it did sound pretty good. So,
yeah. But I'm gonna add in sound effects and whatnot. But that's gonna take me a hell of a lot of time to do. So
yep.
But so since I have you here, Jason,
yeah,
tell me, buddy, Halloween. Halloween's coming up here soon.
Do
you actually have any traditions of Halloween that you prepare for? Do you have like a marathon? Do you have like a marathon of horror films?
Yes, actually, funny you mentioned that.
Okay.
So I don't know when you're going to air this, but on October 21st, starting 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, I am going to be doing what I call Dark Hole Film Fest. It is a film festival that I run on Twitch, twitch.tv/rabbitholepods. And for 12 hours, I watch typically horror movies, but really bad, weird, kind of off-kilter movies that I own. These are all movies that I own in my collection, my personal collection.
Okay.
Some of them I've seen, some of them I haven't seen, or, I've been wanting to see. And it's always chosen by random what movies we watch. I have a little wheel. I put all the movies in there. I spin this wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's what we watch.
That's so cool.
Fellow Rabbit Hole podcasters join us in and out throughout the day to watch them with us. I do this every 6 months in October and then in April. I am going to lean more horror this month because it's October. And
sure.
So I'll be doing that on the 21st.
Did you ever screen Alligator?
No.
You have not. Or do you own Alligator?
I do not.
Okay.
It sounds like something I need to look into, though. Going off of your reaction.
You should look into it, though. It was a older movie with it features the guy from Jackie Brown, Robert Forster.
Oh, okay.
And he plays a cop.
Okay.
No, he plays a cop who's investigating all these missing people, and it turns out that there's this big giant alligator that got flushed down and is eating people, and it's
great. This sounds familiar.
So a little girl gets a baby alligator as a pet, and
as you do, as one happens.
Her dad is angry, makes her flush it down the toilet, and so the alligator is living in the sewers.
I've seen this. Wait a minute. I have seen this. That sounds. I definitely have seen that at some point in my life.
There's a scene where there's like this rich cocktail party with a bunch of rich people, and this alligator just comes by and starts chomping up everyone at this party here.
Yeah, I think I have seen this. Yes, I saw it like a long time ago. It might have been during my when I was doing Evasion to B movies. Like this was years ago. Yeah. Or it might have been Larry Unwanted. It might have been one of the two. I definitely have seen this though. That is very familiar, and I can see the scenes now that you described them. So
it's
okay,
definitely one that you should.
I don't own it. I could. You know what? I'll look into getting it, and I could put it in the next one.
Right. I will ask you this because I noticed that a lot of people were doing the month of horror challenge or Halloween, where you have to watch like a different horror movie
a day or something. Yeah,
a day. Have you been doing that?
Yes, actually. So far, I've been watching all the Saw movies.
Ooh, okay.
I just finished Saw 7. Actually, the other day. I couldn't do it last night. I couldn't do it last night or Friday night, so I'm a little behind. But yeah, I've been watching the Saw movies because I want to go see Saw 10 in theaters before it leaves. And then I want to write up a thing for the website. So I'm hoping I can get to do that. But I've not seen anything past 5 before. So everything past 5 was new to me.
Now, does this franchise follow a linear path? Or does it go like back and forth between like prequels and spin-offs, or does it all like...
See, to kind of answer that, it's kind of a spoiler. So, how about this? I'm gonna spoil something. Okay, if anyone cares very much about Saw, mute for like 2 minutes, and I'll explain, and then come back on. Okay. So, spoilers for the Saw franchise, if you care. Okay, so 2 of the movies happen at the exact same time, but you don't know that until the end of it's Saw 3 and Saw 4 is happening at the exact same time, but you don't know that until the end. No, like at the exact same time.
That episode. So the episode of South Park, where I think it was like Stan's family is going to a party during the night of the eclipse, and I think it was like Cartman is having his own adventures at like Fat Camp, and I think Stan and somebody else have adventures.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. I remember that. Okay, sure. We'll go with that. Yeah.
I'm going to analogy here. Probably.
No, that works. That works perfectly. Okay. So basically, yes. So Saw 3 and Saw 4 happen at the exact same time. Somewhat. Like there are parts in both movies that we jump ahead a bit, but mostly the main action is happening at the same time, but you don't know this until the end of Saw 4. When the characters of Saw 4 run into the characters of Saw 3, and then you realize that those 2 things were happening at the same time. Otherwise, after Saw 4, it just kind of goes forward. There are some flashbacks to back when like Jigsaw was starting out, and there's literally a movie about him getting revenge on the insurance company that denied a surgery that would have saved his life. There's a whole movie based on that. It's kind of funny actually, because American health care system fucking sucks. So to see a movie about a guy getting revenge on an insurance company is amazing. But mostly, yeah, it's been going forward, except for those 2 movies that are side by side. So it was interesting. It was cool. It was a cool little twist. Seeing the Saw 4 characters go into the characters of Saw 3. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, very cool. So I've been watching a different horror film, and I've been trying my best to watch a new movie that I've never seen before, as well as some old favorites.
Okay.
So the first night I did rewatch Let the Right One In.
Oh, okay.
Because I really enjoyed that movie.
I need to rewatch that.
Vampire flick. The remake wasn't bad.
It wasn't actually. I saw the remake too, and it was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was very kind of impressed by that. And then I did watch to prepare for a Lambcast episode. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's a classic. I love that movie.
And then I watched one on Peacock called The Children.
Ooh, never heard of that. Okay.
Have you heard of this one?
No, not.
So The Children is about this busload of kids that drive through a nuclear power plant that had a leak.
As you do.
No, the kids were like taking a field trip, and they just happened to drive through this nuclear power plant that had a leak.
Okay, I'm with you.
And said, "Hey, we're late. We gotta go get drinks, man. Come on, man. I'm almost finished today. We gotta do this shit. No, buddy, we gotta get our drinks now. Do that shit later." And the guy's like, "All right, fine. Forget about it." And so a leak happens. The kids drive through. Well, they're not driving, but they're on the bus, and they're driving through this waste material, and they don't become dead, but they're like, I guess they do die. They become like these zombie kids.
Oh,
but
shit.
They don't eat anyone. All right. Oh. What they do is they go up to people that they recognize and they say, "Hi, mommy. Hi, daddy." And people are like, "Oh my gosh, my kids are here." And when the children touch anyone, it burns them.
Oh.
Burns them to almost like disgusting mass, and then they die.
Okay.
And so the rest of the movie is you have like this cop and the parents of this other kid trying to find out what happened to their kids, and the mother's like, "That's my daughter," and the dad's like, "No, that's not your daughter anymore. Look what she did to my hand. She'll kill you." And the mother's like, "I'd rather be dead than to lose her." And so it's just them.
Okay.
Very, very
interesting.
So
interesting. Okay.
I watched that, and then I watched one called Slasherette Party. Now, this is from the makers of Murder Size.
Murder Size.
And you
okay.
should definitely watch Murder Size.
Okay.
Murder Size is a sexploitation horror film, and it is about a girl who's really into health and fitness. She gets a job working for this workout video company, and she's really into fitness, wants to be about health, but all the other girls that are about, "Oh, look at my tits and look at my butt and I'm looking good right there." And she gets so frustrated that these girls are not into fitness that she starts killing them.
Okay.
But there's also these two killers, these psychopathic killers, posing as cops, who are also invading the workout place too, and she has to team up with the daughter of one of the owners whose father's part of the mob.
Okay.
And they team up to fight against these guys too. But it's everything you want in like a sexploitation movie. It's a movie that would come out in the late 80s, early 90s.
Sounds like it,
on
yeah.
VHS. All right.
Yeah.
Something you would see on like USA Up All Night.
Yeah, definitely on there, yeah.
But the cool thing is that I've been hold on. I just got word from our co-host here. I think she is on her way. So
yeah.
Give me 1 second. I think she said, hold on here. All right. So she says, just got home. That was about just, what time is it now? Yeah, 1 minute ago. So we're going to wait for her to log on, and soon we'll have a special, we'll have an appearance back with Ashley. So
yay, Ashley will be here.
That'd be very cool. So yeah, watched, so Slasherette Party is the previous movie that these filmmakers have made. And I got in contact with them because like, I got to be involved with your show. I want to interview you. I want to be an extra on your next movies that you do. Just, yes, get me involved. So
yeah,
we're going to have them on our show, hopefully in the next month or two. But anyways, getting to Slasherette Party. I'm sorry, I'm over the place here. Slasherette Party is about, it's about a girl going to her bachelorette party, but she just broke up with her fiancé because her fiancé is kind of a dick.
Oh.
But her bridesmaid, her maid of honor is like, "No, you gotta get married because this is the love of your life." And other people, there's like other friend of hers at her bachelorette party thinks the guy's a dick.
Uh-huh.
Bad news is these two guys show up and they start killing people. And I think the movie would have been better if you don't show those two guys and have a bunch of murders happen. So it becomes kind of like a whodunit type of thing instead of like telling who the killers are. All right, so slasher party. Wait, hold on 1 second here. I'm getting messages here. Hold on here.
Bidoo?
All right. So, updates from Ashley. Her laptop is dead.
Oh,
because the battery was gone.
Oh,
they didn't charge it up there, so Ashley would not be joining the show.
Oh, okay. I was looking forward to seeing Ashley, but I miss you, Ashley.
Well,
come back on whatever. You're welcome to come back on whatever.
Yeah, that come back to whatever. She'll be back here. Well, you're trying. I just walked in the door. I thought she thought we were starting at 5. I went, yes, 5
Eastern.
5 EST. I put that on their phone.
I'm the one fucking it up because I'm on the Eastern time zone. Everyone else is Central.
Player 5 EST. You're during the YouTube part of this, you'll see me tap my phone. Yes. I say come. Just come join.
Whenever. Yeah.
Jason. I'm not. Just come join Jason and I. We're here. We'll be here for a short bit there.
Talking about horror movies for a little bit. Yeah.
Just talking about horror movies. Oh, but then I also did watch Exorcist 2.
So you watched the notoriously worst one in the whole series.
Yes. But I've seen Exorcist 3. So I have seen Exorcist, and then I have seen Exorcist 3, and I did not see the prequels.
I like Exorcist 3. It's not that bad.
I do too. Exorcist 3 is actually really good.
It's pretty good. Now, the story behind it is because it was called The Exorcist, the studio sort of forced the exorcism scene that happens in there. Because it wasn't in the original script. It was supposed to be everything that happened. It was supposed to be the George C. Scott character investigating what the hell happened in the first movie. They thought it was a murder, the stairs, blah, blah, blah. And then the studio was like, well, it's an exorcism movie. You got no exorcism, so put it in exorcism. So they had to put that in there.
Hey, guy, where's your exorcism movie here?
Yeah,
we
smoking the cigars.
What's going on here, guys?
Signing the checks. Yeah. So, but I think it's a decent movie. It's not the best one. The first one's the best, but it's not that bad considering it's the third movie. And the scene with the nurse, and I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, is probably hands down the greatest jump scare on the face of the planet.
That is true.
And
you can't got Brad Dourif in there too, and
Brad Dourif's in it. Yeah, absolutely.
But have you seen Exorcist 2?
Oh, I did. It's fucking terrible. It was boring as shit. I'm like, how is this a follow-up to one of the greatest horror movies of all time? You're boring us to death. I was stabbing my eyes out while I was watching it. I hated it.
It was just so bad shit, dull.
It was boring.
John Boorman reportedly said that he hated the first Exorcist movie, and I find that to be funny. That yes, John Boorman said all Exorcist was just torturing children, and he hated.
Oh my god!
And he didn't want his movie to be about torturing children. So if you don't know the story, I'll tell the brief story about Exorcist 2. Raiden has now grown up, and she's seeing a psychiatrist because of dreams that she's having.
Mm-hmm.
And the psychiatrist, played by Louis Fletcher from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, has this device. This device with lights will shine on people to expose their dreams. You have Richard Burton as this priest who's been hired to investigate about what happened to the last priest, played by Matt von Sydow.
Yep.
And he's trying to find out what happens to him. There's James Earl Jones wearing a locust outfit.
Yep.
There's just it's got the score from Ennio Moncuro. I can't pronounce the guy's name, from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
Did the music for it.
Okay.
And yeah, so when they set his lights on them, she sees images of her past life. And Linda Blair said that she'll do a sequel, but she does not want to get into the makeup again for the dynamic scenes. So they had to hire someone else to do it.
Okay.
And like the whole movie, Richard Burton is just trying to find out what happened to this other priest, and then they get back to the New York, and they tape the lighting thing in their heads, and then he becomes possessed, and he has to go back to the house, and she follows him for some reason, and then you see the other evil Reagan, but she's all like sexy now, and she's being seductive. I'm like, wait, you're 16. No, this is wrong. But I think she actually was 20 when she made the movie. And just, it sounds crazy. It's got some good cinematography. I like the special effects at the end, but that's it. But it's not scary. There's not one.
No, it is definitely not. No, nothing about that movie was scary.
That happens in the movie.
Nope.
For like a 2-hour-long runtime. Watch it at your own risk. It's on HBO Max.
It sucks.
Watching the original.
Just go watch the original.
Just watch the original, which I probably should have done, but I was at a movie theater, the Parkway Theater, and they had a whole thing called Trailer-Rama, where they play a whole bunch of like old horror movie trailers. And they played the trailer for Exorcist 2. And the trailer for Exorcist 2 is way better than the actual movie itself, because it puts in like this disco soundtrack.
Of course.
And with like these these images happening. I'm like, this looks insane. Like, do you ever see that movie, The Rules of Attraction?
Yeah.
Okay, the moment when one of the characters is describing his trip, and he's talking about all the different places that he's been to.
Yeah.
All right. But remove the dialogue, and just have this like woman banshee screaming, go, and then this thumping bass like just showing random clips of this Exorcist 2 just in your face, like, holy shit, this looks insane. Is this the actual movie here? Because if this is the actual movie, how it goes,
I know, right? That sounds way better than what we actually got.
It's so dull. It's a very dull movie. There's like not a tape of like suspense. So yeah,
no, it's not good.
I watched that, and then I also have been watching old episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, nice!
Because I found a box set of it, so I've been rewatching.
Yeah, you got to get it through the box set, because for some strange reason it's not on HBO, like HBO Max or whatever the hell it's called now.
It has to do with like rates issues or something like that. I don't know.
I guess, but it's still disappointing because, you know, it was an HBO but like a lot of the old HBO stuff isn't on HBO Max. Like, you know, Dream On, if you remember Dream On, is not on there.
I missed that. Yes.
Just for anyone listening, Dream On was like a sitcom that came on in the early 90s on HBO. It was like a sex-filled like sitcom with this guy who was just like a single guy in New York, and he would just like try to have sex with different women. But like the what's that called? The point of the show or whatever was he grew up watching old TV and old movies. So during scenes of like him interacting with people, he would recall like a clip from like a TV show or a movie. So like during like a scene, he's like, "Oh, hey, beautiful blonde woman, let's go have sex." And then she'd say something, and then there would be suddenly a clip from like a 1950s movie playing, like for like 30. It's kind of like Family Guy. You know how Family Guy does the jumps?
Yes.
It was like that, but instead of the cutaway gags, it was with like old movies and TV shows. Like that was what the whole thing was about of Dream On.
And that's, I bet you that's why they couldn't put it on the streaming.
I would think that would be public domain by now, though, because I mean it was like black and white old clips, and they were even old in the 90s. So I'd imagine they should be in the public domain. So that can't be it. Unless it's always music. I think it's probably just music.
It could be just music right there, but who knows?
But you know what else? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You say what else? Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just going to jump to the next thing. You know what else is not on there, which is a little painful because I'd love to revisit these, is Real Sex.
Oh, okay. Like,
I don't know if anyone. I don't know if anyone remember Taxi Cab Confessions. That's another one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these old HBO shows are not on HBO Max for some reason. It's a little disappointing.
And bring back the Manual in Space series again. Come on. Come on, people. All right.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that too.
Chris Allen, all right. There you go.
But anyway, sorry, to bring this back to horror, Tales from the Crypt is also missing from the HBO Max library, and I wish I would if I found out right now that all of Tales from the Crypt was on streaming on HBO Max, that would be like the rest of my night. I would just cancel everything. I'd order a pizza, and then that is all I'm watching for the rest of my night because I loved that show so much when I was a kid. I was a teenager when I was running, and I loved it.
I watched one last night with Harry Anderson from Natort, and he plays a illustrator for Tales from the Crypt magazine. And the story is that everything that he draws comes to life.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that episode. That was a good one.
As Colleen Camp, as his wife, very shrewd wife.
Yeah.
He falls in love with a cop investigating the current things because one of his drawings comes to life, tries to eat her. She's almost getting raped, but he eats the rapist. So, good thing.
Yeah. I remember that episode.
Did you have a favorite episode?
God. I'm trying to recall all of them because the last time I've seen them was back when they were airing, so because it's so hard to find. And I looked at the DVD sets. Last time I looked, they were pretty expensive.
I was lucky. I found mine at a half-price bookstore.
That is lucky.
$25.
Yeah, that's lucky.
So I had one available, so I just grabbed it.
I am trying to remember. I can't think. I can't off the top, like you describing the Harry Anderson one. I just remembered it, but
hold on, folks. We're gonna just give me a small bit here. We're gonna take a quick little break here. This is where I can play ad spots from some amazing podcast shows. One of them is Whatever with Jason Soto over at Rabbit Hole Podcast.
That's a good show.
Check it out. Very, very good show right there. And then the other one is from our gents at the podcast that wouldn't die. So we're going to hear those great podcast ad spots, and I'll be right back, all right?
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome
for
back.
our people who watch this on the video, that was a very, very short break. But I had to come back. Hi, welcome back to Cinema Recall. Our special guest, of course, is Jason Soto from Rabbit Hole Podcast, the host of Whatever with Jason Soto. But
do you want to list all of them right now? Do you want me to list all of them? We'll be here for 20 minutes.
Go to rabbitholepodcast.com. But
rabbitholepodcast.com.
I come back here and show.
Dude. And that's all of them?
No, that's just third season. It's just all.
Oh, okay. Season but still, that's amazing, though. That's still great. Yeah.
So so one of the things I do recognize in this, and I had to look this up again because there's one episode. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up episodes.
I watched one called For Crying Out Loud, and it starred. David Stark can tell me the cast of this one is, but one of them. I hate this. I thought for sure. Well, no, because I really thought. Oh no, William McGee. Wait, doesn't that tell me? Oh no, yeah. Starring Lee Armstrong, Katie Seagal, and E.T. Pop.
Oh,
and this one is about a guy who's trying to rob a music center that he's at. and Katie Seagal stumbles upon it, and he kills her. But there's like this voice in his head, and the voice in his head is Bobcat Goldthwait. So Bobcat Goldthwait's telling him, "No, you're going to get caught," but it's Bobcat Goldthwait. I mean, that'd been fun. Then I watched one with Demi Moore and Jeffrey Tambor called Dead Right, and it is about a femme fatale who marries a guy, like this overweight guy, for his money, and then things turn bad for that.
Yep.
Then I had one on here, and where did it go? One called The Switch, which is about it says, to woo lovely femme, a wealthy codger trades body with a hunk. There is a switch to the switch, and this one was directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I kind of remember that one. I do remember like seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as a director of that. I do remember that, which is really weird when you think about it. Yeah, I've not seen any episodes of the show since I was a teenager, because they're just so hard to find. Outside of going to half price books and stuff, but like, I wish they would just show up on HBO Max.
No, and I'm so sorry. For crying out loud, I am totally wrong. The voice in the guy's head is Sam Kinison.
That's even better.
So Sam Kinison.
That's even better.
Is telling this guy, like, you're not going to get away with this. You're going to get caught, all right? They're going to find that you killed her, all right? Just admit it. You did it. And then there is one that has Bobcat Goldthwait. It's called The Ventriloquist Dummy with John Rickles and Bobcat Goldthwait. And Bobcat Goldthwait is like in love with that love, but he's in awe of this ventriloquist played by John Rickles. And John Rickles has like this dummy, and Bobcat wants to find out how he could become a ventriloquist, but Bobcat Goldthwait has no talent. He cannot throw his voice before. So he does find this dummy, but this dummy is actually deformed. I don't want to spoil it because there's like a little twist there, but yeah. One great thing about Tales from the Crypt, and I feel like I should do a whole series about Tales from the Crypt, is that a lot of the great things about it is the reveal. It's sort of like in the Twilight Zone, where you have all these little great reveals that happen.
Yeah.
Like the twist is what makes it great.
Now, let me ask you. Have you ever seen Tales from the Dark Side?
I've seen the movie, but not the show.
Okay,
so I don't really
that's a series that I have on DVD. I just had the first season. And
I had no idea it was a show.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more 80s. It was like in the mid to late 80s, I believe. But it was the theme song to that like always freaked me out. It was like I recommend everyone go check out the theme song for Tales from the Dark Side, the show. And let's see, looks like Tales from the Dark Side. Yeah, it was in the 80s. It started in 83 actually, so it was older than I thought. It was created by George Romero, and it was basically Tales from the Crypt, just didn't have the Crypt Keeper in between. So it was basically just a horror anthology show of just for 30 minutes, something fucked up happens, and then it ends. There was no host, no explanation of anything. It was just, here's the story. Which is fine. Yeah. But I recommend people go look up the theme song on YouTube because it is the creepiest like theme song ever. And there was some pretty good stuff on there. The first episode, I had the first season on DVDs. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think that was it was a Christmas episode, and it was like a Santa was trying to break into the house or something. It was like this like deranged killer was escaped from an insane asylum, and then he stole like a Christmas like a Santa outfit, and then this woman was kind of like by herself, and so she sees Santa like outside the house.
this sounds very familiar to the very first episode of Tales from the Crypt, which is also a Christmas show.
Wait.
In the Tales from the Crypt one, the wife, a woman just kills her husband.
I may be getting things mixed up. That might be what I'm thinking of then. I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me look up the first episode. Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt, they had a woman kill her husband, and she does so, and she tells her little kid, "You gotta stay upstairs, otherwise Santa will think you're bad." And guy escapes from the mental hospital, dons a Santa outfit, and comes to the home, and the whole episode is this woman trying to escape from this killer. But at the very end, the little girl goes, "Look, Mommy, I found Santa Claus." And so Santa's in the house, and Santa is obviously going to kill the wife. The mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my apologies. I was getting that mixed up. The first episode of Tales from the Dark Side is about this drunk guy who he shows up to his house, and this guy is there, and he says, "I'm your son, Jerry." But the drunk guy is like, "I don't have a son named Jerry." And then it just kind of goes from there. I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, that's the first episode. I'm sorry. So yeah, so these are like I mean, it's basically Tales from the Crypt. I think they're a little more serious, because like Tales from the Crypt can have like goofy storylines and goofy plots happening and whatnot, whereas like Tales from the Dark Side was a little more serious, and they would actually like legitimately trying to scare you. Not that Tales from the Crypt couldn't scare you, but you know, I think Tales from the Dark Side was trying to like really unnerve you, especially going off that fucking theme song. So
yeah, okay. I'm let that shit up there.
So check out Tales from the Dark Side. I got the first season on DVD. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. I just have it on DVD.
Only thing I know is that the movie is streaming on Paramount
The movie's
Plus,
good. The movie is good. It's got Debbie Harry in it. She plays a witch who's trying to cook a kid.
Steve Buscemi's in it too, and Christmas Slater.
Steve Buscemi, yeah, it's a pretty all-star cast. But yeah. What else?
We don't have a lot of like horror anthologies happening now. Like, I was really hoping that Stranger Things would have been like kind of its own anthology. I wanted to have each season of Stranger Things focus on a different characters.
Here's my conspiracy
theory.
The same.
Okay.
I think that's what they might have been trying to do, but I think the characters were so popular, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, Eleven and Will and Mike and the one guy, Dustin. You know, like, I felt like they were kind of forced to continue on. Because if you kind of think about it, it ends on the first season kind of ends perfectly, like in a weird way, because it's like, okay, Will's back. Spoilers for Stranger Things season 1 if you haven't seen it. But Will's back, but then he, you know, vomits up the weird upside down animal thing.
Yes.
And he still kind of has visions of it. They're like, okay, that's a great way to end it, right? Like, that's a good,
great horror ending.
Great ending.
Yes.
And then 11 was just missing. I think that would have been great. Like, just have her just like, hey, we won't resolve these things, and that's fine. Yeah. Not everything needs to be resolved, you know. But I think that somebody at Netflix was like, these are great characters. People seem to really love them. Give us a season 2 following up on all this. And so the Duffer Brothers, I think, reluctantly had to. Because why the hell else is that show called Stranger Things? Like, that title doesn't make sense with what's happening. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it doesn't fit. So I felt like they wanted to have, like, okay, season 2, we're going to have another creepy mystery story thing happening. And I think they were forced to do it. Now, again, this is just me talking. I'm talking out of my ass. This could be furthest from the truth.
So it's the same thing happened with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill when they did Halloween.
Halloween 3, yeah.
Each movie be different, but studios like, no, we need Michael Myers back.
I don't know if it was the studios. I think it was just people. I think people went to Halloween 3 and were like, why is there no Michael Myers in this? Well, and so they rejected it.
But the studios, when they were making Halloween 2, said, all right, we need to have a sequel with Michael Myers in it. Give us Halloween 2. If you give us Halloween 2, we'll give you Halloween 3. The mistake was just calling it Halloween 3 when it should have been just its own thing. That was the mistake the studios made, is calling it Halloween 3. Because you know damn well people are going to see Halloween 3 because they want to see Michael Myers.
Yeah.
If I was going to see Halloween 3, you would expect it would be like if they made Jaws 3, but it wasn't about a shark. It was about an octopus. There was no shark in Jaws 3.
It was just like it would be a goldfish. It would be like a manic goldfish going around, like psychically killing families that were in their tank. That's what Jaws 3 should have been.
It should have been a different animal. It would be like a gerbil.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, change everything up.
Psychic gerbil that goes around making people's heads explode for some reason.
A psychic hamster who's fed up in being in a classroom of like second graders, and it gets psychic abilities, and so it starts stalking all the kids in the classroom. Vern, you and I are writing a horror movie as we speak.
I think so.
We're making this happen.
This is too cool.
This just writes itself.
Well, we are getting close to the end of this bonus episode here.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you, Jason. You need to come back on. In fact, I'm going to ask you this right now. If you have nothing going on, I think it is Monday the 29th. I'd like to have you on.
The 29th is a Sunday, for what it's worth.
Oh.
So,
well, actually,
and Monday's the 30th. So,
actually, let me double check something here. Let me double check on one of my.
I could be available either of those days, I suppose.
Okay. Yep. Sunday. So yeah, we're looking to record Sunday the 29th, and I'm bringing on I'm bringing on people from the Collateral Cinema podcast. And the Film Effect podcast.
Okay.
Along with me and Ashley and yourself.
Okay.
We are going to discuss the Halloween franchise.
Oh, okay. I have seen every single one of those, so I'm in.
We're gonna have people list their favorites. We're gonna talk the whole spectrum,
and
we're gonna do this in under 90 minutes or less.
And is this including the newer ones that splintered off?
The David Gordon Green trilogy,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna be covering all
I'm
that
totally
stuff.
in.
So that's gonna happen in around the 29th. So check that out. This is where I give our information about where to find us. So Cinema Recall, we can be found everywhere podcasts can be found. We're available on all your different platforms. Our website is cinemarecall.net. Don't forget to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/cinemarecallpod. We did lower our tiers there, so that's available right now for our listeners, subscribers. So in no special order, I had to give a special shout and thank you to all these wonderful people. We gotta thank Donnie Roberts, formerly of Cage's Kiss, now it's the Deep Sea Anthologies. We gotta thank Linda Castro from Bed Knobs and Broomflits. We gotta thank Matt and Ashley from Mashley at the Movies. We gotta thank Harvey Andrus, formerly of the band Your Ex-Girlfriend, but also Patreon members, so thank you, Harvey Andrus. We gotta thank Jeanette Mickenham from AKA Jeanette on Twitter. We have to thank Jen McQuaid from the podcast Shot and Applaud. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Jason Soto, who is our guest today. He's a Patreon member. Thank you very much, Jason.
I am, of course.
Very much to all of our Patreon members. Greatly love and appreciate every one of you. So if you want to help support the show, go to patreon.com/cinemarecallpod. But yep, that's it right now. Hopefully we'll be back soon with Ashley for another full episode. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. We may do an episode, recording that shortly here. But it was Jason. Before we go, please give the listeners any sort of plugs you have. For
absolutely.
Come to Rabbit Holes.
So I produce a shit ton of podcasts for the Rabbit Hole Podcast Network.
You're a mogul. You're like a
mogul. Yeah, basically. You can go to rabbitholepodcast.com, and we have literally a podcast for anything you might be into. We have podcasts about movies. We have podcasts that covers TV shows. Vern and our pal Ryan Luis Rodriguez, they do a Twin Peaks podcast,
which I will get to record an episode soon.
No, I know you guys had both of you guys. I understand, it's fine, because I have shit like that happen to me all the time. But Tales from the Double R's, Vern and Ryan's podcast. It's amazing. It's fun. They cover every episode of Twin Peaks, but they look at it. It has like an FBI case file. They play FBI agents who's involved in their own mystery on the show. It is wonderful. Every time he sends me the file, I listen to it, and I'm like, this is amazing. So please go check that out, Tales from the Double R. We got a book club podcast we do once a month. We got a lot of music shows. If you're into music, our friend Bubba Wheat and Nick Rehack had a show called Lyrical Innuendo, where they take a song and then they discuss the lyrics and they ponder if it's about sex, drugs, or if it's just a plain old rock and roll song. And a lot of stuff. There's so much to check out. RabbitHolePodcast.com. Please go check it out. There is something for everybody there.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, by all means, folks, check that shit out. Amazing stuff. Keep watch on Cinema Recall and also Rabbit Hole Podcast for new episodes that was mentioned. And yes, that's right now. I don't want to say any more about what's coming up next on the show, just because I don't know for sure what's going to happen. And I'm afraid if I tell you what's going to happen for an episode,
he'll have to kill you.
Like, what happened to that episode? Why is it not here? And I'm like, I don't know. Something happened. But anyways, folks, I got a job right now. We've been here long enough here. Jason, thank you so much, man.
No problem. Anytime, man. I'm glad to do this anytime.
That was a lot of fun, buddy. All right.
That was fun.
There it is.